So we just got another big update regarding the SEC versus the Ripple case. It almost feels like we just cannot escape this case because the SEC Gov has filed a status report with the Court of Appeals noting that the parties have filed a joint stipulation of dismissal of the appeals and that the stipulation remains pending and therefore awaiting approval by the court. So this case is still just going through the tedious details, if you will. And, we're still waiting for it to wrap up officially. Now, the reason why we're still focused on this, and I would assume that by the end of this month, we should have this all put behind us officially. The main reason why we still focus on this is because of what we are witnessing around the altcoin market. And what exactly is that? Well, it's the push on institutional adoption through ETFs, which is going to be the biggest catalyst for any altcoin in this market. I have been comparing the, XRP chart to Bitcoin, to Ethereum, to Sol, to even Doge, because again, I just want to take note that XRP has outperformed almost everything in this market outside of like meme coins and fresh launches in the last year, right? If we're thinking about Bitcoin and XRP has outperformed Bitcoin almost 5 times. XRP against Ethereum, again, it's almost 5 times. And then also even against Solana, I mean, it's not even comparable at this point. And even with Dogecoin, also XRP has been outperforming. And I could go down the entire top 100 list and do the same exact thing, or I could just open up the general CoinMarketCap view here. And let's just go to top gainers and top losers in the top 100 for the last 30 days. If we're looking at some of these top gainers, let's just go off of OKB, right? So OKB going insane, you'd say, all right, well, definitely outperforming XRP, right? No, XRP is still outperforming OKB. All of these projects that are moving in a significant way, XRP still is outperforming almost every single one of them on the 1 year. And that's because XRP in the last year is up over 440+%. And it's been one of the most sought after projects this cycle already. And this is hinting at institutional focus, right? If I was an asset management company, I would be looking at XRP and I would be saying, this is interesting, right? We need to look into this a bit more. We need an ETF around XRP because, again, we are in the market. We are in the business of making money. So if we're thinking about that, we have to look at how XRP is stacking up against already launched ETFs like Bitcoin and even Ethereum. And to really kind of compare this, we look at the demand, we look at the performance, we look at how much attention is on XRP. And I think that this is telling us that these institutional players are also noticing that XRP has been a very strong mover already this year. It's been outperforming all of the top dogs. And this is also telling us that we should be seeing a big push on ETFs very soon. But there is an obstacle, and that is the case. I really do think that the case has hindered quite a bit of things, especially even XRP spot ETF decisions. Now, if we're thinking about that, we also got a big update from Ripple CEO. XRP spot ETF is coming soon. We got this on the 15th. Brad Garlinghouse says he's confident that the US SEC will approve an XRP spot ETF with trading expected to start soon. Decision deadline, October 2025. So October this year. Will this be an XRP breakout moment? And we also, remember, got that update from Standard Chartered. This was 4 months ago, where they forecasted that XRP would reach $12.50 by the end of 2028. But also within this, they did say something very interesting. What is that? It's the XRP ETF. A major catalyst for this growth is the anticipated approval of a spot XRP ETF in the US by the third quarter of 2025. Now, also, they're saying 2025 price predictions, XRP $5.50 compared to Bitcoin's $200,000 and Ethereum's $4,000. Well, guess what? They're already wrong on Ethereum. I don't know about Bitcoin yet, but $5.50 seems pretty low on XRP. I would say their 2026 price prediction of $8 is more on point, or even 2027 with $10.40. But again, we'll have to watch, wait, and see. But the main thing that I'm looking at is their anticipated approval of a spot XRP ETF in the third quarter decision, because I do think that that prediction could definitely live up to, the hype, because already we have the case wrapping up. It feels like it's almost done. And XRP attention is only growing from this point on. I mean, everyone's eyes are on XRP at this point because of the performance already this year. And right now, even though we are in the Ethereum phase of the cycle, I'm mainly looking at what altcoins can do next in this market the second that Ethereum does break a new all-time high. Now, on top of that, we also go over here to the Ethereum ETFs, because we have to focus on the Ethereum ETFs right now, because it's kind of giving us a little bit of a glimpse into how successful some of these other altcoin ETFs could be. Because for the longest time, what have we heard? We heard that, oh, Ethereum ETFs are not that successful. Bitcoin ETFs are going to continue to outshine Ethereum ETFs. It's all about Bitcoin. Well, guess what? Spot Ethereum ETFs post fourth best inflow day ever, over $600 million. 3 of top 4 inflow days since launch have occurred this week. Nearly $3 billion in new money over the past 4 trading sessions, quickly becoming a money vacuum cleaner. And also over here, record trading volume for spot Ethereum ETFs. Look at this chart. Good indication that institutional investors are getting more involved. And we could see, the US Ether ETFs hitting record volume. And then also, last but not least, highest trading volume week ever for spot crypto ETFs. Spot Ethereum ETFs absolutely obliterated previous weekly trading volume record. Wonder if there are any no demand naysayers still out there. And yeah, when we think about Ethereum, the craziest thing about the ETF, performance is that Ethereum's ETFs have been very successful. But I think back in time to the days where XRP was the second largest crypto asset. It flipped Ethereum multiple times. The demand around XRP could quickly outpace Ethereum. I really do think that we could have a very successful spot XRP ETF. And I think that that could be a catalyst for, a whole bunch of attention to flow onto XRP, which would also bring in a ton of volume and value to XRP. And that could very well be the catalyst for XRP to actually flip Ethereum again in the future. We don't know if that's going to happen this cycle. We don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's always a possibility. But I do think that the Ethereum ETFs being so successful are also hinting at, if we're going into the next phase, which is altcoins, I do think that altcoin ETFs, if approved, could also rally against Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs. Now, talking more so about that, we also have over here, the XRP ETF will be the wave people have not realized could happen. This has all been just pre-season. And here we actually have Nate Guralshi on CNBC. A standardized crypto ETF framework could be implemented in the next 2 months. No more separate approvals for each spot ETF. That means a wave of XRP, Solana, Cardano, and more ETFs could flood the market soon. And big shout out to Zafe Crypto for this. Check it out, guys.
3 major stock exchanges, so NYSE, NASDAQ, and CBOE, they have all filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs, which basically means that the exchanges wouldn't need to seek specific approval for each spot crypto ETF as long as it meets certain criteria. So this would streamline the approval process. And that's important because right now there are filings out there from multiple issuers for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR. We could go on down the list, but there are a boatload of filings out there. And the expectation is that this standardized crypto framework will be implemented, say, in the next 2 months or so. And so if and when that happens, I think you're going to see the floodgates open. We're going to see a wave of approvals, and you're going to see, again, a boatload of new crypto ETFs coming to market.
Yeah, that certainly seems like a big catalyst there. Matt, do you think we'll see more crypto-related IPOs similar to Circle, especially around stablecoins? Do you think we'll see some SPAC-related IPOs that have that kind of crypto focus?
Sure. I mean, there's a saying on Wall Street, when the ducks are quacking, feed them. So, of course, Circle really accelerated the timeline of a lot of these crypto companies that have been waiting for the right time to go public. You bring up SPACs. We've seen a lot of SPAC activity, specifically targeting crypto treasury companies. But I will mention that with Bullish this week, it might be flying under the radar, but Bullish has a lot of crypto assets. So it's not really a crypto treasury company, but I mean, it's sitting on 2 billion plus of crypto assets. So we are seeing some activity there.
Wow, yeah, no small number. Nate, how have crypto fund flows been looking? Does that to you symbolize just the overall demand for crypto right now? And if they get kind of the institutional support, as you mentioned, with regard to the NYSE and NASDAQ, do you think that will help support additional ETF creation?
I do. It's been a monster year for inflows into spot crypto ETFs. About $26 billion has gone into spot crypto ETFs overall this year, about 19 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs, another 7 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And if you look in July alone, investors put about 6 billion into spot Bitcoin ETFs and 5.5 billion into spot Ether ETFs. And if
So yeah, I mean, listen, when we think about right now the wave of adoption for ETFs, the inflows are definitely at crazy, crazy levels, but we're still looking at the possibility of how successful an XRP ETF can be. We don't have the numbers in front of us. We don't have something to kind of go off of with this. All we need to know here, though, is how successful XRP has been this cycle already, and all of the moves that have been happening around XRP as well to really kind of support the success of XRP. I think that this is something that a lot of people are overlooking at this point. I don't think that a lot of people are realizing, how big of a catalyst this will be for not just price action around XRP, but also even think about it like this, right? XRP skyrocketing, it's making headline news. All of a sudden, we are starting to see more and more inflows into the ETFs. It's a prime environment for more and more bullishness around XRP, but we do need the spot ETFs approved first for all of this to actually really kind of align. But I do think that a lot of people are not paying attention to, the ETFs. I think that the ETFs right now around Ethereum have been very successful in supporting Ethereum's price action. In terms of XRP and XRP ETFs, I really do think that this is going to be something that we see probably Q3, right? Which would align with the market waking up again. It would align with phase 3 and 4 starting as well, which is alt season. It would also align with Ethereum making a new all-time high, just like back in January of 2021. So again, the environment here around XRP is insanely bullish. I think that it's extremely important to think about all of these things when we are also looking at the market and we're starting to see potential sell-offs. We're starting to see pullbacks. It's important to think of what's still left in front of us this cycle. We still have yet to actually see altcoins go insane and go parabolic. We have yet to actually see Bitcoin dominance break down. We have yet to actually see Ethereum make a new all-time high. And if we're thinking about all of that, we're still thinking about what is left in store for XRP, because again, XRP so far already this cycle has been doing very well, but I still think that XRP has a lot more gas left in the tank, and the ETFs are definitely a huge catalyst for this. But also the case, everyone that is saying, oh, the case is done, it's done, it basically is done, but we still have to get through all of this tedious paperwork. But once it's done and officially announced that it's officially finished, right? Once we get that, I do think that puts everything in motion around the ETFs, around adoption, around announcements. So we still have to just be a little bit more patient here. But I think that it's going to pay off, especially once we start to see everything align perfectly with Ethereum making new all-time highs, ETF approvals, altcoins going insane, phase 3 and phase 4 officially being here. And again, I think that the spotlight's going to be on a lot of these projects like XRP. And the first altcoin that actually gets the ETF approval for a spot ETF in the US, whatever altcoin that is, it's going to be insanely bullish. So we have our fingers crossed for XRP. I think that XRP could definitely be first in line. We have to watch, wait, and see. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a like, subscribe, notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.